So I did do some work on the blueprints between streams, and basically the big thing is up there. But what I did was I added. Where is it? added the beacons to this one because beacons had sort of been left out and I didn't know where to put them. And so I added them onto that blueprint there. But the big thing I did was this up here. I think I did that on stream, the military stuff, but that's just building all like the turrets and all that sort of side of things. And what I've built essentially, I might just turn the music's already on them. Yeah, what I added was what I built was this basically, and it's all sort of ratioed up based on based on this guy. Well, I say that it's ever so slightly less explosives than it's needs, but that's because of the mines basically, and partly the nukes. But you see, all the numbers are basically positive apart from that one. But it's very much items that it's really these ones that you need to sort of build it for because they take so long to make and are so sort of resource intensive. And obviously, depending on where you are in terms of evolution and biters and blah 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 blah, there's possibly a need to do a lot of rockets for Spidertrons if you're doing that. So yeah, so this is just that's the final end game one. It adds on things that so basically it starts off, with just regular rockets and landmine. Oh, it's obviously also got the cliff explosive on it if you're playing with cliffs. But yeah, so that's the basic build. And then it adds on explosive rockets so that you can sort of stock them up before you get your Spidertrons. And then once you're into your end game, it gives you nukes and artillery. It's, as I say, because you probably a lot of people wouldn't use landmines, so you could easily add on extra artillery. And if you're not playing with cliffs, you don't really need that bit. But when I did that, the bit that was left, and it's always the bit that's a bit of a pain now because they made it use crude oil, is the flame fuel. So what I did was I created this. I'm not sure I blueprinted this yet, actually. Did I blueprint this? Oh, I did. Look, so this is just a sort of annex, or just an addition to the oil processing, and it just attaches to any oil pipe that you've got. So you could put it here as well. Well, you couldn't because the robot was being the way, but you can fix that sort of anywhere. So you depending on how you've set up a robot network, you could run this pipe further on, sort of thing, and put it here or add it to this liquid bus, or just have it built here, because basically you need steel to be sent in, and of course I've sort of done that with robots with that assumption, and it's only a pipe connection. But you could, of course, tap some steel, from your bus or whatever, and do it that way instead. Or I could, So yeah, so that was the extra one there. So that means all of those are done, and I've added that. So we can do any of this, basically. The big thing that's missing from bus building is power. So I think we'll probably work on that. But all of the other things that I want to build are pretty much done. Well, there's the big question over satellites, but that's like a whole addition to the whole bus. But basically, there's these two things here. So what this is representing is this is the walls. Is that right? Oh, yes. So this is the walls and my final version of the walls. We started working on that in a previous stream. So these guys, basically. So the more complete walls. I'm not going to go as nuts as I usually do. It's going to be a simpler system, a bit, but still fairly good looking. But then also just a reminder to me that I need to add trains and artillery into that. Obviously, say there's the whole satellite thing. There's Covarex enrichment we need to do, and uranium processing. But these then this is a solar array, a nuclear array. We'll probably have several. I'm thinking about doing that like 2x16 maybe, up to that scale. This is fuel for trains basically. So I always use coal liquefaction and turn it eventually into nuclear fuel. But I'd always do that down here, with the trains basically. So it should be nicely fit into that gap. And then this is outposts. So I need some blueprints to do outposts. Because although if and when I do another mega base, I'll do it as a single base, you're obviously at some point going to need to expand and do a few outposts. So even if this became the central base, we'd probably need to grab this iron, which, given how it's all set up, would probably be outside of our walls. So and that maybe that copper, whatever it happens to be. Maybe we would need to grab some more uranium or something, which, well, that's not too far away, but it might be outside of our walls and the one that we wanted to get. So some sort of outposting system that would then be incorporated into the main base. So yeah, what I think we'll work on is like building power stuff. So I'm going to build all of them, I think. But I think I'll do it in a relatively modular way, like I've done. Which was the modular one? I think it was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, so this is like, building general stuff for the off of the bus. And say it's sort of, I think I ended up doing it modular. There was one that was like that. So I'll probably do it like that. So you can plot down, if you're not going to do nuclear, then you don't have to, put that bit down. So let's grab those to remind me what I need to build. Put it in here somewhere. And we'll get working. So, is this lined up? I don't think it is, to be honest with you. No, I didn't do that after a while. But we can just use sort of this bit as the reminder of sort of how it would attach to the bus. Am I going to work with it as blue belt straight off this time, or am I going to go... Oh, I also tried to tidy this up because it was getting a bit silly trying to find stuff, that I needed to build. So we need to add these in. I think we'll probably work with yellow belt rather than blue. And I can just do the upgrades later. Obviously we need some inserters to work with. Probably need some storage chests maybe. Some power poles. Whoops. Some lights. Do I need fluids? I don't think I need fluids or anything, do I? Okay. And we will... Oh, that's already... Okay, so... do that. So, the question then is how... Oh, obviously I need assemblers. Wait, are assemblers not on my list? No, they're there. So we'll work with blues. Going to need modules. I've already got modules. So, if we were building the first part of the thing as... Because pipes, we'll assume, are already in the other system somewhere else. But we would want boilers, which is stone furnaces and pipes. Now, we could do a requester to recycle stone furnaces, maybe. So that could be pulling in stone furnaces. Watch the bots deliver stuff, because there'll be random stone furnaces in the system somewhere. Oh, I guess I should explain. I mean, I'll probably end up chopping this up, actually. So this is my blueprint series. where I'm trying to build some blueprints. For myself, I've never really made blueprints. I've always sort of built new each time. But I don't think that's a very efficient way of doing it if you're trying to do something like a mega base, which is kind of what I'm intending. So we would also need then a thing making stone furnaces. So that would give that all that needs, and to do that we would need iron. You need stone, don't you? Yeah, so we would need iron. And stone potentially. Maybe it's a half belt with that. So that would give us stone furnaces. Not stone furnaces, boilers. To build steam engines, we would also need pipes as well. Okay. They're a bit more intensive, I think, aren't they? And we would also need gears. So what are the numbers like if I do something like this? So the gear machine is way too slow. Pipe machine is way too slow. Everything's way too slow, but that's kind of anticipated. I'm only really going to be making these almost as to have like a way of burning wood at this stage. It wouldn't be really intended to be the main source of power. So do I care? And if I don't care, why don't I just do that? Yeah, okay, let's do that. So, so I guess that needs to be there. Something like this, maybe? No, why don't we put that in like that? There. That. Oh, I can't put a power pole there, then, can I? So this would actually be, say, up here. Somewhere connected to this system. So it's iron coming in there. That. What do we do with the stone? We could do the stone. Oops. Here. And it's just like that. This one grabs, because there's stone on the bus. Do I do that maybe? And we can wire this up. Let's get some wires. So that's requesting in them. This would need a filter. For boilers. Let's do... In fact, let's just do 10 boilers. And then this can be 20 of those. Do I really need... If I'm not actually fussed at the rate it makes them. Do I really care? I say there'll be some already. So I did 10. Yeah. So I'll just do it as the 2-to-1 ratio. So that's iron plate coming up there. So who else needs iron plate? You need iron plate. Do you need iron plate? No. You don't need iron plate either. That needs gear wheels, pipes. Cool. This needs a filter to them. And them. Yeah, I've been watching the various E3, as people have been calling it, the various presentations and stuff. I guess I could speed them up. In the absence of E3. It's been a bit sort of lackluster, if I'm totally honest, in my opinion. How have I done power poles on some of these? Surely they're outside. Well, that's lined up with the actual... Been a bit inconsistent with that, haven't I? Let's put that there. Okay, so that was a nominal setup for those. If we were then to have one making combinators and... Oh, I'm going to need chemical labs then, aren't I? I tried to put things roughly, close together on the list. So, if we were then to have some machines making solar panels and accumulators. Now, accumulators need iron as well and batteries. So perhaps they could go on the side here. Because I'm going to need to make batteries. I'm not bussing batteries. But oops. This is iron plate. Oh. Those like that. We would have, say, well, batteries could come up either side, I guess, but we're going to need iron plate. We're going to need copper as well, aren't they? And they need copper. That might be interesting. So that's accumulators. Don't know how many I want of those. If batteries end up there, let's just pop that at the end. So if I had one chemical lab making batteries, I would also need the whole battery supply chain. Because again, I'm not bussing produced materials. So we need that, basically. So how does that balance without prods? And how does it balance with these guys? So it would need 2 more to even support them. And I can't put... Wait, are blue machines being done with level 1 modules? Yeah, okay. Because how long do you take? You take ages, don't you? You need 10 seconds. Because ideally I'd want some speeds in them, really. So if we do a prod on 2 speeds, how far off is it? Quite a way. Still 2 machines down. Okay. So in other words, we would need 2 more of these just to support them. So if these were speeds instead, and I got rid of any modules there, because I'd want a couple of these anyway, even if I don't speed them. What are we doing then? How does that... Oops. How is that looking? So, it's 0.75 machines down now. So in other words, if we put 1 in, can we speed these up as well? Doubt that, but Let's just have a look. No. Maybe have like the ones on the end. Maybe this, or the one on the end. Maybe has one speed module. Because waste not want not, you know. 0.063 machines out. Okay. If you had one, what would that do to the numbers? Not enough. Okay. Because we might have as well have it that this is starving, you know, starving. I mean, not starving, but it needs more than is being provided. So then there's not going to be loads of batteries sat on the belt, you know, pointlessly. Yeah, so that's nearly nearly spot on. So we would then need to support this. I mean, that's saying it's fine. So can I get away prods in that? Make more free stuff? I can. In fact, that didn't change, did it? 0.36. If I put that in. 0.328. Okay, so it does change, but only a tiny amount. Then this needs to be probably faster. No. So if we prodded it but doubled it. No. Oops. Maybe one speed? I think we're going to need two. No, that's fine. Maybe one and one? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so just one speed will cover that off. Now I need to arrange it so that it can actually build it. Because this obviously needs water and petroleum. And that then starts to need iron plate. Okay. So could I perhaps put that in the middle? Put the other way around? So these two provide that. Because they need iron plate, but they don't need any. That does need water. Water! In fact, same way around would therefore be better, wouldn't it? Because this doesn't have another fluid input. And these ones could be reversed. Yeah, that'd work. So then I can put water on. So I do need pipes. Why did I not get pipes? Because I'm an idiot. So this could all be water here. Ooh, ah. And then this could be petroleum. Like that. Gaps here for power. So we need to connect water there. And then this is the sulfuric acid out there. So it needs iron plate, the sulfur. So iron plate can be grabbed simply because this is going to be up against the iron plate belt. I accidentally grabbed that as well. Let's move it out of the way. So we move this up here to there, say there, oh, just pop in there. And then, so if this was where? There? Because we need to be able to do the pipage. I'm lining them up like that. Obviously I could tweak them and actually build it, but it's just to sort of show where they go, basically. Oh, is that not? Oh, I'm doing that, aren't I? Okay. Yeah. Idiot. So then it's water in there. And petroleum in there. probably, from experience, probably needs 2 inserters because they really thump it out. But yeah, so then this needs copper. Is the tweak. So, how am I going to do that? So if this was here. Oops. We need to put batteries out. Because one option is, you know, I could make this a mixed iron and copper lane. So I'm not fussed about the productivity of them. But at the moment, they're going to be demanding 21.3 iron. So if this was a belt of iron and it's being shared, actually they're going to thieve a lot of it. But then they're not going to be producing a lot of stuff. So that sort of balances out. But this is going to require 2.45. So that's not a lot. What about if it has these as well? So let's do it in belt terms. Transport belt. Yeah, so it's 0.2 of a belt and 0.1 of a belt. It's nothing really. Okay. So if we make this a half and half belt, and I could... How quick are you actually going to pump them out? 0.1 of a belt a second. So it's not a lot at all. Okay, so if we make this an iron and copper, it's not quite as modular as all that then, is it? But that'll then give these guys copper as well. Oh, I can't do that, can I? So do that, that. Oops. And then we can put those there, and there. Well, there to make it a bit even, a bit prettier. And I can just use... No, let's put that there. Use my little filtery trick so that the copper doesn't go further than that. That's the batteries. Cool. Let's just test this and see how it does. I'll probably end up having to fiddle with the... Why am I doing it that way? Modules and stuff for when it's higher level belt and that. What am I looking for? I'm looking for those. Put that in there. And those. To do stone in here. Oops. And mixed iron copper. So let's see what this gets up to. This is thumping out the sulfurs. As I say, it sort of probably needs 2. Inserters, really. Because you see how it's backing up. Because these aren't running, really. Oh, that one's not even... Why are you not working? Oh, I guess because there are probably somewhere down in some chest somewhere there's a bunch of furnaces. But there's no bots to bring them? I don't know. That's a bit strange. Oh, unless it counts me. Maybe it counts me. Oh, no, it's because I haven't set a condition. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, this needs to be... Where are you? There you are. Is less than 50. There we go. So you see these are pinching all the iron. As I say, kind of as expected. So it'll just sort of balance itself out. Oh, I put 50, didn't I? I didn't mean to put 50. Oh, it doesn't matter. That's fine. Because it's this that's 10, that's the blocker. So that's now stopped. When that gets to 20... It's just one set of, you know, complete set of furnaces, basically. Oh, no, it isn't, is it? It's half a set. If I do it with 10. Because it's 20... 20 to 40, yeah. One pump supports 20. Do I want to set that higher? I guess if I was building a full array, I would actually want it to be a full set, even though I probably wouldn't be at this point in the game. It'd be a half one just to burn wood and coal. But yeah, we'll take that as that. I could just throw some in, basically. Oh, I bet. Is it on this? Why is it on this list? Just to stop it from building them. Oops. So if I... Oh, I didn't reset that? No, I did. Okay. So let's stick a bunch in there. And that's fine. Yeah, so that'll cause this to kick in. Well, I suppose I could, you know, very early game, I could still be using coal in some way, but I tend to transition to these as quick as possible. I note that this is completely backed up. Has the numbers lied to me? So I do have slightly too many. So if I was to... Why have I got slightly too many? I thought I put... That's better. In fact, why don't we put one in there? Maybe I misread that. Yeah, so same net difference. Cool, okay. I didn't put any conditions on these, did I? So, what do we want this to be? I mean, quite high, because this is the total system. Did I put filters on? I didn't put filters on them. So yeah, okay, just chugs away until it's happy. Cool, so that works. Next is these laddies. Now, what's the build time on that? 10 seconds as well. Have they always been the same? Weird. Didn't think they were. Oh. Yeah. So... Because I was just sort of aware that actually... How much copper does it need? The accumulators are there. So I could actually put these machines here. And that gives them the copper, if I take that out. You know, they get access to the copper they need. Nice and simply. Simple as. And then the other two ingredients they need are just steel and green circuits, which are on the bus, and I can just bring down here. That's quite nice how that worked out. And then these need to be solar panels. Did I put the other one at 500? This one, both. Da, da, da. Question then, I guess, is it, you know, eating more than half a belt of copper? No. Is anything more than half a belt? I mean, technically it's 1.6 belts of iron, but as I say, these, you know, will soon fill up, and then they'll just sit there, probably forever. So, what about these? They demand 0.1 of a belt of copper, 0.044 belts of iron. So I'm going to avoid making this mistake I usually do, because what I normally, you know, what I've done, what I did in the Blueprint, Megabase series in particular, was I basically just kept adding those on. So I just kept adding more and more of those machines, and it just wasn't able to support it or produce it at the sort of volumes I need. So what we really need eventually, and that's more in a, you know, building it for a Megabase type situation, is a proper solar panel and accumulator build, assuming I don't try and do it with nuclear. But yeah, that was easy. I thought that'd be more complicated to do then. That is right, isn't it? It needs green circuits, steel and copper. Green circuits, steel and copper. I guess I could maybe see about speeding them up, because they're not eating anything like a belt, or half a belt even. 0.1. So maybe these could be quicker. These ones are capped by the rate I'm producing batteries, basically. Because, you know, I need to add more stuff in there to do more batteries. But these are capped more by just belt provision of copper, steel and circuits. So circuits is getting close to half a belt, so that's probably all we could do. It means there's a slight imbalance, but then you need more solar panels than you do accumulators, so don't mind if that one's produced, you know, quicker but sort of same total number. It sort of balances out a little bit. Cool, okay. This is going well. Next one then is the whole nuclear stuff. So what does that look like? So we've got nuclear reactor. So that's got concrete. Interesting. That won't be on the bus. Everything else will be. We've then got heat exchangers. They need pipes. Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. We then need heat pipes. It's just copper and steel. Okay. We then need steam turbines, which need pipes and gear wheels. Okay. So this is pipes and gear wheels. Do I care about them being produced fast? Probably not again. In which case... Oops. Get rid of that machine. And that can be done in that style again. So this one needs a requester at some point, because it's going to need to request concrete. Everything else, copper, steel, red circuits, copper, steel, copper, copper, steel. So everything needs copper and steel. Now steel would be on that belt anyway. Doesn't need green circuits though. So that needs copper. Sorry, that needs steel. that needs steel. That one doesn't. But these do, don't they? But these need iron. Well, you need iron and you need iron. And you're just copper. Okay. So if we had another iron copper belt here. Again, this is in the territory of I don't really care if it produces it at rate. Because it'll just build a load and then I just won't use it for ages and ages. That's why I don't bust, you know, gears and stuff, because although it is, you know, more compressed material, it just sort of sits there most of the time. So this would need copper. I mean, we could put one of them in theory. Do my little filter trick. Other way around. Just the iron. Because that's just copper and steel. That would get copper there. Needs pipes and gears, which it's got. This needs steel, copper. That needs copper. Oops, there. Pipes it's got. Now you need copper as well. You also need red circuits. Now, because of when this is in, I mean, it's a bit silly this being a blue machine, because probably actually by the time I was building it, I'd be on green machines. But in the assumption that I've somehow got to that point already, we could just bot in. Because how many of these am I actually going to make? I mean, it's a ridiculous number, ridiculous amount of stuff. But you know, even if I had, you know, 3 2x16 builds or something, it's, you know, absolutely bonkers that I probably wouldn't do. That's 32, 64 of them in total. So, you know, having it belted in or botted in is sort of irrelevant, really. Or is it? I don't, it's just because I'm going to bot the concrete in, so it's like, well, why bother? You know, the others it's just because it's there, but you know. In fact, would it be better if this was the last? It'd probably be better if this is the last one. Although it's copper and steel, isn't it? No, if this was the last one, so it's just sort of eating up, you know, anything it can get hold of. I think that makes a bit more sense. I'm going to say this will be a... Oops, not 5,200. 500. And 500. Concrete. Come on. And then there, this is those bad boys. What do I actually want that to be set on? Let's go 8. In the assumption that I end up at that 2x4 as my biggest one, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. We then need to put you in somewhere, don't we? We need to put the chest. So I guess if I put... Which do you need more of? You need more gear wheels. Okay. So if we put the output for this one, what do you need? We only need 10 pipe. Oh, other way around. Put that there. Make that a long-handed. Do we want to leave a gap? I don't think. Yeah. So you're gonna make heat exchangers. Now I can't offhand Let's just make it a stack. I can't remember the numbers on those. Wait, you needed more gears, didn't you? So actually, if I do that... Oops. Actually, it doesn't really matter, does it, if I do that? All that. So you're going to make turbines. Need quite a lot of them, I seem to recall. And you're filtered to turbines. Light. That's a bit better looking. So then the gear wheels are just a direct insert. This gets moved to here. Can need a heck of a lot of them from memory as well. I mean, I could move that there. So I've got power. Cool. We are going to need some of these as well. It looks like it's going to be too long, but it's fine. In fact, probably better if that's sort of on the end anyway. Because these would be covered by the closest ones. Is that everything? So this is getting... No, I haven't put the filters on. So this is... No, that's those. Did I put the numbers on? I did 50 of them. That's those. 100 of them. That's those. 8 of them. Didn't do the filters here. That's those. So you need loads of them. 200? No, that's not enough, I think. 500, I think. Cool. Cool, okay. I mean, we could put some speeds in those two. And how long does everything else take? This takes 8 seconds. That's not too bad, actually. 8 seconds to make an entire nuclear reactor. But 10 seconds to make a single solar panel. That's only a second. 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Yeah, it's all fine, isn't it? Cool, okay. So that's the power stuff. Do I want to do... But I think that's there for all the builds. We have to do Covrex, etc. And that won't take too long. But then we could move on to these, basically. Specifically that one and that one, I think. But that's all of them built. Because this is a much bigger job, you know, adding in satellite production. So we could do the higher level ones, or I'll just do that afterwards. What have I actually got? Oh, I was panicking then. I couldn't see my one. So we're actually on 14 now. What would they go into? I guess I should add them in there, shouldn't I? Yeah. Okay. So it actually be because it's actually intended to be sort of 3 blueprint, or I'm intending for it to be 3 blueprints. I can just add 2. So let's mess about with that for a little bit. So this would be boilers and turbines at level 1. And then I want copies of that, so a copy, which is solar panels and accumulators at level 1. And now we want a copy that is nuclear stuff at level 1. Guess let's put I don't know, that in. So it's a bit symmetrical. Okay. And then we need to edit these blueprints. So this was the... What have I got there? It doesn't really matter, but basically we need one that's just... Actually, that's in the wrong place anyway. But yeah, we don't need... If this is the... You know, boiler and etc. build, we don't need any of that. How's the power getting over? Because I've not properly connected those. So get rid of that. Get rid of that, and that, and all of that, and that. Cool. So this is the revised boiler one. Dodgy boiler. Then this one. And where did I put that power pole? I put it... Nope, I put it there. Cool. So this is just the addition of solar panels and accumulators. So we don't need any of that. So say trying to make them sort of modular-ish. So if I decide or can't do nuclear or whatever, I don't have to worry about building that bit of it, for example. So that power plant needs to be there. So I get rid of that. In fact, all of that. And that. All you. Cool. So it's not really modular because, you know, you see the power poles are a bit random, but that's fine. Did I set a request on that? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this is the nuclear power one. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. There we go. So these are the power builds. Nice. I say they need upgraded versions, but I can do that. Separately, it's a bit more tedious. Right, so we are on to Covrex maybe. And just general uranium processing. Okay. Let's copy that so I can line them all up. There would be... Now, would there be? There would be... There would be what? Would there be uranium on the bus? Yes, there is. So, but it's raw unfiltered, unmessed about with uranium. Okay, so I need those. Again, I'm being very inconsistent with the power poles, but somewhere here. And it's doing the basic uranium processing. Is it? So if we ended up... Because this is sort of like... Well, it's not really, is it, when you do your first uranium processing? But it's kind of late game. So I think... No, let's have a version that is early-ish. And then I start adding it. I've not got any bacons, have I? Start adding in those guys. Oh. I'm just thinking how I'm going to do this, basically. I don't usually quite do it in this way. So if we were to just... Do I use regular chests for this part of it? Because I can use filter inserters, basically. You know, to take out the appropriate material, put it into the appropriate chest. You know, this could be... What? 238. And this could be... Oh, other way around, isn't it? 235. That. But then do I not want them to be available generally? Is it a bit not a bit clearer to do that? And how many of these? How many of these do eat a single yellow belt? 10 of them? Crikey, really? Yeah, crikey. But do I make the assumption that, you know, I will have bacons? What does it look like if we have speeds in them? So it's getting closer, so another one would probably be almost an entire belt. Or another two, rather. Somewhere there. Is that one, isn't it? Is that an entire belt? Because they're probably not going to have a belt, is the thing. Because I'm going to do the same thing to make, you know, nuclear train fuel. I'm actually going to process it down by the train. So they probably wouldn't actually have a belt. But I suppose the ability to process a belt isn't bad. Maybe. Yeah, let's leave it like that. Oops. Because these are when you do this pattern that I do, it's uneven. Because that has 6 and that has 5. So they're not quite getting the same effect. I've got any robot bolts, okay. And then maybe some lights on the situation. Oops. Oh no, actually, let's put them there. So, this one needs filtering to this. And this one needs filtering to this. It'd probably be better, wouldn't it, if I brought, say, the... Would that be better? I'm just thinking I could... Like, 2, 4, 6, 8... I mean, it's 10, so it doesn't really work, but... I could basically put them this way around. Have the belt coming up. Oh no, but then... If I was doing that and trying to save more beacons, then it'd be better with the beacons up the middle. In fact, if I put the beacons up the middle anyway, then I can use them for the Kovacs, seeing as I seem to be going down using bots. I can always underground them past the things. Because we want some of them to go into chests at some point, because the bots are going to deliver them to the... Alright, so all the way over in the thing. There's the ammo build, uranium ammo build. So the bots will be delivering that. I'd have to switch these back out again. Put them there. I suppose the question really is, when it gets to blue belt, is this too much? That's the real question, isn't it? So if we were blue belting this... Oh, fine. Oh, of course I haven't. Bala, 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 bala. Yeah, if this was blue belt, is it going to be enough? I don't really know why I did that, because it's just I can look at the numbers without the belt actually being there. The real question is the upgrade of these guys, the modules. What have I got in here? Okay, so we go from, say, 1s to 3s, 1s to 3s. Oh yeah, so what does this look like? In terms of express belt. No, so it's only half a belt, you see. Half an express belt that it's eating. Why is that? I guess it's the boost doesn't match the increase in speed of the belts. So maybe this should be doubled up anyway. Did it do them all? Yeah. So if this was like that, so it's still not even a full belt. Okay. Because the level 1 version of it, I can just not have the beacons there. But if it's the level 3 version... Would I not be using these anyway? I'll have to think about the lower level ones. But yeah, so that's a basic nuclear processing. How much coaxing do I want to do? And how do I want to do it? Because it would make most sense for it to be here. You know, using the same beacons. Potentially the same power as well. So if this is... Oh, there's the reprocessing as well. Huh. Didn't think about that. Oops. Because Covrex I would normally, you know, do full-on 12 beacon. Oops. I'll try to anyway. Because it's so slow. But it gets a bit tricky with the wires, basically. And the logic and all that sort of stuff. So, can I sort of fit it into this gap? Because then I could have the next one there. Or is that? Needs to be one over. I don't know. Is that getting hit by all? Yeah, 14. So we don't have to. You can actually make a little bit of room and still hit them by taking it up one. So we might need to do that. But for the time being, let's see if we can get this to work. So, good old Coverix. So, the key parts to this are usually the requesting and the feedback system that I do. Because you need to request in... Well, it kind of depends, doesn't it? Am I going to go with... And you always need to request in... Where is it? There it is. The 238, because it effectively turns 238 into 235. That's effectively what it's doing. So we could attempt to do some kind of loop there. Obviously probably end up with fast filters, you know, debris. Or not, maybe. Maybe I try and do it with that. And then put it out there. How simple can I make this? Because we could have one of those systems. I've done that before. Can even do that. Make that storage. Because basically you've got two loops going on with Covrex where it requires 40 uranium-235 and 5 uranium-238 to be put in. But it produces 41 uranium-235 and 2 U-238. So you need to keep topping up the 2 to 5, basically. And then eventually, as I say, depending on how much seed you put in, because you can just seed it, you know, put into the chests already enough for the process to run. But you can also just request up the extra. But effectively, we want it to loop the 235 round with the extra going into a storage, a chest that's available for the bots. So, because we don't want the bots robbing the stuff out before it can go through. And we can control a lot of it with circuits, basically, circuit network. So, that's just a regular inserter. It probably needs to be a stack, actually. Because, I mean, the way I normally do it, like this, you end up with pauses, basically, because it actually, it can't put the stuff out quick enough. But if that's just a general one of those, and it puts the output products into that box, and it doesn't matter what they are, it's just all of the output from the thing, once it's done a cycle, then we could use filter inserters, or maybe filter stack inserters, because it's just one product. With filter stack inserters, you can't set... Well, you can do that, but it's only one product, basically. So actually, that was wrong. That needed to be... No, that needed to be the dark one. Because we want the bots to continuously top that up. But the stuff that loops around, But it's like a margin of error thing, because the bots will put in more than 100 anyway. And the amount that comes out, it just means that, every so often the bots won't top it up because there's enough accumulated from cycles round. And all of that's got access to now. We could put it on that, so it'd be a little bit more efficient, but so it doesn't really matter. All that's got access to is the dark green. If I magic some up, I can sort of start testing it. So in this, well, if I put this in here and let it cycle through a thing, let's see what it does. But then this one needs to be a stack filter as well, and that's for the green, light green stuff. I tend to do these. It's like a reflection of the coding I do as well, in that it's like the most dumb systems you can imagine, as in non-clever. So this would be this. See, that's trying to take it away, and that's not what we want. We actually want it to, because we've got another chest there, we only want it to put things into a storage chest if there's more than a supply. So we'll hook this up with a chest, and we'll say to this one, don't turn on until there's more than 40 of these. So it'll only put the excess into that chest. I've got nowhere for power poles though. Power things. So it's a bit weird in a sense. It's a bit sort of over the top. But it stops the bots robbing the stuff, basically. Because this will just keep going. So I'll put a load in here, I guess. Saying it's only grabbing those, and if it had more of those, what would it do? Yeah, so it puts the light green ones in there. Okay. Now, do we want any other controls? Because at the moment it'll just run and run and run until this is like completely stuffed. So do I want any other way of controlling? Because what we can do is limit these chests, or, so we could set this to only accept, say, 100. And this to only accept, say, 100. And then, I mean, we could put another condition on that, but we could also just cap it like that. So that way, because this one's the precious one, you get absolutely untold numbers of those. Dark green. Compared to light green, it's light green we really want. So it's a bit, the reason it's a bit inefficient because it's the bots doing all the work. And they're only going to be transferring tiny amounts, basically. But otherwise, I'd need to put the stuff on belts and sort of, you know, organise it round, which always gets a bit messy with these. Now, we could also put some caps on these to stop them just, you know, completely filling all the chests. But in a way, we don't really care about that because all that it's doing is material coming in. You know, it's just whatever we've put on the belt, and I don't. There's so much uranium on the map that it sort of doesn't matter if you just keep burning through it. You know, because there's just so much available. Now this isn't going to work because that's there for a reason. So actually this needs all sort of punting up, basically. So actually it would need to be... What? It would need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because that needs to be there. That's there. I've done that a bit weird, haven't I? So this is the raw uranium coming in. So do I want to set some limits on these? No, I think I'll just let it run, basically. It's whatever it can get hold of and it'll convert it. It's these I don't want to run eternally because you do need dark green for like ammo, don't you? Yeah, because that uses the dark green. The bit I haven't accounted for is the power. How do I get power in? I mean, I could just move this up, couldn't I? Oop. Put power there. So you can do a lot fancier ways of doing this. It's just say it's just like show my personality in a way. I just, you know, brute force it in. Oh, I do need to cap these though. Don't want them. That one loading millions in past because it applies with all machines. They overstuff the things that, you know. There's always like 2 crafts worth or something, or 1.5 craft worth. That's sort of how it works basically. But that's requesting it for that. So if I put, you know, just chuck some of them in again, we'll run the process. But yeah, it would fill these up past what it's actually got. And we'll put, see what it does. So I could make that a 1er as well. Oh no, neighbours are burning stuff again. It's only half an hour left there, so I'll see if I can put up with it. Do I want? Yeah, I want stack size limit on that as well. Yeah, so it'll only produce like a row. I mean, that's a lot of U235. Do I want to tidy this up a little bit? Yeah, let's do that. Looks a bit tidier when you do that. So hopefully that'll work. I sometimes completely mess it up, to be honest with you. But, oh. What did I do there? Okay. So, what does this reckon in terms of numbers then? I don't quite understand how it does these. It works them out. What does it take as being the U235 machine? And how can I have both net those two? That's a bit weird. I think that at the very least is saying that I've got like a half a machine to 8 machines as a ratio, I think. So I don't really know how it works because this is a percentage chance. This recipe, it's like a 0.7% chance. So I don't know how it's doing the maths on that. I wonder what it does it in express belt terms. So it's using up 0.8 of a belt, but also 0.4 of a belt of that. Don't see how that works. But yeah, that's fairly neat, I think. Do I want another? No. So yeah, I need to think about it. So, I mean, these ones would only ever be level 3. That's, you know, proper endgame stuff, Covarex. And I could always do it as a single unit, couldn't I? This could be our Covarex. No, I'm going to have to go and shut the window, I'm afraid. I will be back in 1 second. There we go. Right, I'm not going to do my usual rant on. The thing. So it's just. Oh, I could slip. We could put in. Excuse me. Reprocessing as well, couldn't we? Yes, that's a Covarex. Oh, it's not that, I guess, is it? Isn't there a symbol for Covarex, or does it not let you do that as a? No, it doesn't look like it does that. So maybe those two. So this is real endgame stuff. So say I don't mind that there's not a level 3 of that. We could move that up. There's only a level 3 of that. Yeah, what about instead of one of them, it's like a reprocessing one? Oh, I didn't do these ones, did I? So we put that in. Yeah. So this is, what's the level 3, but what is it? It's raw into the 2 uraniums. Cool. That's other. Good. And that's the level 3 one again. Cool. Yeah. So I say we could do a little one for reprocessing fuel. It doesn't. It's just literally one is fine because it doesn't make a lot. Yeah. Oh, in fact, I've not got the thing making actual uranium, have I? So maybe we do both of those as one build, maybe? Oops. So this one... Oh, no, you use this, don't you? In fact, let's do it as a... No, let's use a blue machine if it'll let me. Don't you use this? Yeah. Uranium cells. Ah. So if that's using iron plate... Huh. Maybe... we should actually attach that to this somewhere. How would that work? Oh no, that's got iron plate on it, doesn't it? Okay. So maybe this should be part of the build, because there's no point having them if you've not got actual nuclear fuel. Okay. So, because that then gets it access to iron. It needs those two, obviously, but we can request those in. Provide that like that. Okay, oops. Now, if you doing that. So this just needs the used cells, so we can request them. And it pumps that out there. This can just be that. And it's like I could limit it and stuff, but of course you're only going to get used ones once you've done some of those. So, and you only get them once you've burnt it, so you kind of don't need to limit this chest, because we can just, effectively the bots are just being used to top it up. Obviously need this. But yeah, it's sort of a, you know, you're only going to have used ones once you've made some normal ones. And you're only going to have as many used ones as you've made, if you see what I mean. Right, so is it worth... Can you put prods? Oh, you can put prods in there. I guess that does change it, technically, then. Yeah, so, if you make one of them, then the amount you get back is way, way, way less than, what you get out of it. Because, it burns the fuel, basically, so that's not exactly surprising. But yeah. We'll put that there. Where do I get power into this? Maybe there? And then a light there. In fact, I can't put... No. Okay. So that needs to be part of the nuclear one, doesn't it? Nuclear. So if I just plot that down again. So that one. Pop that there. And then grab this. Like that. Take that off. Put that on. Yeah, and that's that fine and good. Okay. Redo that then. This other... That one. That one. That one. Awesome sauce. Cool. So then I need like a yellow and red version of that, I guess. Probably no point doing, yellow. I mean, there is no yellow version of that. We could do it with lower speed, lower modules, but I assume bots have been distributing stuff around, have they? I don't know. I haven't seen them take anything anywhere. But yeah, okay. Is that everything nuclear? Let's plop our... I mean, this nuclear fuel build, we could do that. There's only about 10 minutes left, and I say I do want to stop pretty much on time so I can go and watch the adverts for new games. It's been a... So, there was an article on Kotaku this week, a couple of days ago actually, about crunch at Bethesda, and it's sort of... Bethesda's always had this reputation of not really crunching. It's amazing. Well, I'm wondering if there's any AAA studio that doesn't crunch, basically. Seems to be endemic. But it doesn't quite seem to have been picked up in the way that a lot of the other articles have been. So it's not been sort of widely reported, or... And it's a bit strange. It's a bit like, Bethesda's some kind of special case, really. I'm just trying to think whether this is exactly what I want. And I think it is. I think we're done now. Did I blueprint everything? I don't think I did I? Let's have a look. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I imagine they won't say anything at the press conference, because because of the nature of what it is. So yeah, basically I need to, produce red and blue versions of those to fill that gap. That one needs a red and a yellow version. That one I'll just take as being that's an end game, level 3. We're all happy and good. So that would only exist like that. Cool. Okay. So, what do we want to do next? I mean, I'll say unfortunate amount. 15 minutes left. We could go and work on... We've done all of them. These are essentially, apart from these, I'm not fussed about these, but these, once we've got all of these, not them so much, that's when I want to test the blueprints. So once I've got, the outpost one, I might just do that myself, because it's really just a version of the existing blueprints. I actually did another thing I sort of quickly did was upgraded version of the simple defenses. Open that wrongly. Oh no, that's the wrong book. This one here. So these are they basically just added lasers in. That's pretty much it really, and also done chests so that I can supply. So that's actually enough. Until you get into sort of mega base evolution at virtually 1. They're basically fine, those defenses. So I don't really need these to be done, and I don't need them to be done, but we kind of probably need coal liquefaction to be done, and I say that I can just do myself. So I guess we should really do this. I'm going to say there's then the 2 power builds, solar and nuclear, but there's no way we're doing that in 15 minutes. So they announced on Friday's video for Satisfactory that the update is coming on Tuesday. Tuesday. So Fridays, so Monday's stream, I'm really actually determined to get one of these foundries built. It won't be hooked up to trains, but I'm quite determined to get the concrete factory done, basically. So I've been trying to sneak in a bit of time, but it's really become very apparent that if I'm going to do job hunting seriously, I kind of need to dedicate more time to it, because it's just taking ages to do, not very much. So I may have to step one of the streams down, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's only temporary as well, obviously. Right, so we need... So what we're going to do is set up a little coal liquefaction build, basically. Because what I usually do is very early game. Now, we probably wouldn't... The intention of this would be not to be doing that at that stage. Oh, that's a point. I don't think I've got anything making solid fuel. Oh. But yeah, so what this steps up through solid fuel. So I usually use coal, because initially I would feed coal, and I have got blueprints for that. So there's a feeder for coal in the rail. Where is it? I did actually tweak this, so it's just one that works generically. But so that there is the sort of belt-based coal feeding system. And it does like that. And then that, you have to manually delete it, but delete what's there, sort of thing. But this then, I let it go. This then, I haven't got the station on it, have I? That then is like the bot equivalent, and this actually is set up to request everything. So you would actually sort of, as you started making rock, initially the coal liquefaction would be able to make the solid fuel, and then it makes the rocket fuel, then it makes the nuclear fuel. And as you step up through them, you can just sort of delete out the level of fuel that you're at, and the bots will just sort of sort it out. So yeah, so basically the versions I need of this aren't really to do with the belts, they're more to do with producing the type of fuel, essentially. I think I'll actually do them that way around, maybe. It's usually easier on my little brain. But what we want, what do we want? Because I'm only putting... Because we've got the coal here being made into plastic, and this is roughly the numbers we would want. So how much coal does this actually eat? That eats 0.86 of an express belt of coal. So it's not even an express rate of coal. We then need a belt of coal for that, because it needs to go, into grenades. So effectively there's 2 belts of coal used up. Yeah, so we've got 2 belts spare to turn into, to use for coal liquefaction. Okay, so if we look at this at end game stage, rather than sort of early game. Because what I normally do is I normally feed these boilers with the coal. You can obviously feed them with the, solid fuel and stuff as you make it, but so I normally go with that. And then what you basically have to do, because you always have to seed coal liquefaction, but once it's seeded, because the recipe uses 25 heavy oil but produces 90 heavy oil. So say once you've got that initial 25, it sort of self-feeds. If I set it up properly. So yeah, we do need a little bit where we can just add in some heavy oil. Essentially, we can sort of loop this back on itself. I'll just put it in like that. But we need to obviously control it with some logic. It's 5.2. I'm not going to get this done at all, am I? Because yeah, we want most of the heavy oil going to be turned into light oil, and particular advantage of that is that light oil converting to solid fuel is a much better recipe. So you convert it all to light oil, turn all of the light oil into solid fuel, and then the little bit of petroleum you convert to solid fuel as well. You then convert all of that. Well, this is what we need to work the numbers out for, because we still need some light oil, because in order to make rocket fuel we need light oil as well. So we need some of it being used for rocket fuel. But then for the nuclear fuel, we can use our uranium builds, a smaller version of those, to pinch some uranium, because in theory the uranium station, I've not plopped it in, but the uranium station can provide sort of 2 belts worth of uranium, and we've only got 1 belt going up here. So, in theory, there's a whole belt available. Right, so let's put in some bacons. Let's put them at max distance to see sort of how many. Would I be doing that? So I usually prefer this to be just sort of upgradable in a simple way, rather than having to completely replace it with a entire separate thing. Do I want it that way around? Because we need to feed steam, and steam comes out there. But we also need access to coal for both of them. So if the belt of coal was just somewhere there, maybe, nominally, then if we have that one there, 16. Then we could have this here. Will that work? Because that needs to feed in somehow. We've got more space than you have with, you know, chemical plants. So we can use that there. And then we need to feed that in there somehow. We haven't got any space there, though, have we? Because that needs that. I can't put things in there. Okay. Oops. What we could do instead is what? So if that was like that. Actually, didn't really need to be undergrounded, does it really? In fact, we could have a pump somewhere there. Help with the flow, maybe. Ooh. And then... Oh, I need more room than that, don't I? Well, this is pretty ugly. Not a fan of this. No, not a fan of that at all. No, don't like that. Numbers-wise, though, let's say if we were to have a row of bacons up there, with those, how we do it? What the numbers look like? So 12.8. Well, in terms of express belts, that's not even a quarter of a belt, is it? In terms of regular belts, it's only 0.8. Okay. I mean, would I have more? Oops. More of those, maybe? So remove this monstrosity. Okay. I don't think I could put them there easily because, well, I could. I mean, I could underground like that, couldn't I? Loop it around that way. Okay. So what does that look like numbers-wise? Oops. One has no recipe. Is it not? Yes, it does. What are you moaning about? Oh, I must have caught them by accident. Yeah, so that's using 3 belts, isn't it? Because if it was on express... Well, it's only 1 express belt. One and a half fast belts. Oh, I guess I should put that on. 45. Yeah, but is it producing enough steam is the question. So yeah, that is producing enough. Because so when you feed these in with coal, and you burn coal, then you have to account for the fact that some of your coal is being burnt, basically. So if we added one more in. Oh, crikey, I need to stop. Getting carried away again. Yeah, we'll pick this up at some later date. Yeah, so it's not enough steam production. So we would need one of them. And then we're into 57, which is 1.2 belts worth. So yeah, it's that's the number I need to be fiddling about with. But yeah, as I say, I'm going to stop because I want to watch the showcase, which is literally about to start. I'm just going to pop. I've gone a lot closer to the line than I thought. But yeah, so basically I'll be back tomorrow with more Satisfactory. I'm back next weekend. Be back to normal schedule, should be. All of the key 3 stuff should be finished. And just to say, if you wanted to catch any of my VODs or anything, you want to catch up on this series, if you happen to be watching, then there's Twitch for the live, YouTube's got all the VODs on, Twitter is where I announce them, Discord I'm intending to do multiplayer with. Mouse, you didn't reply to my Discord. I don't think that's interesting, but I was trying to set something up on Wednesday and it was sort of all falling apart. So if you are interested, on Wednesday evening sort of thing works for you, just let me know on there. If you're still there, I don't know. Maybe you got bored of Sweet Transit and went away, but there's no problem. Yes, so I say thank you all for watching. If you've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.